And Yahweh spoke to Mosheh, saying, on the 10th day of this 7th new month is Yom haKippurim, or Day of Atonement they call it. It shall be a Kadash gathering, a place apart gathering for you. And you shall afflict your beings, and shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh. And you do what? No work on that same day. For it is Yom haKippurim, to make atonement for you before Yahuwah, your Elohim. For any being who is not afflicted on that same day shall be cut off from his people. And any being who does any work on that same day, that being I shall destroy from the midst of his people. You do no work. Again, 2. And then here we go again. 2, a law forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. When? Only in Yisra'ėl, or only when Yahuwah shall come back, or only when we're in the promised land, or only the Yisra'ēlim them back in the day. What did that say? A law forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. No matter. Shalom, guys. Welcome back to the channel for part 2 of Yom haKippurim, or what they call Day of Atonement. So welcome back, guys. If you did not check out part 1, a link in the description will be below, so you can check that one out, where we talk about the beginnings of Yom haKippurim, or Day of Atonement they call it. So we're going to jump into Wayyiqra, or what they call Leviticus chapter 16, and we're going to read through the whole thing. Our focus is going to be verses 29 through 31 and 34, but we're going to read the whole thing. So stay tuned for that, or skip ahead for those couple of verses, but all of it is good. All of it is for the esteem and for knowledge and for wisdom and for walking out this Day of Atonement, carrying it out rightly, and making sure that we do it. So, and Yahweh spoke to Mosheh after the death of 2 sons of Aharon, as they drew near before Yahweh, and died. And Yahweh said to Mosheh, speak to Aharon, your brother, not to come in at all times to the Kadash place inside the veil before the lid of atonement, which is on the ark, lest he die, because I appear in the cloud above the lid of atonement. So you just can't go in there any type of time, no matter if you're a priest or whatever. Can't go in there any type of time. Have to get special permission. With this, Aharon should come into the Kadash place with the blood of a young bull as a crime offering, and of a ram as an ascending offering. He should put on the Kadash linen long shirt with linen trousers on his flesh, and gird himself with a linen girdle, and be dressed with the linen turban. They are Kadash garments. And he shall bathe his body in water, and shall put them on. And from the congregation of the children of Yisra'ēl he takes 2 male goats as a crime offering, and 1 ram as an ascending offering. Ram and goats are not the same thing. Me already people them. We don't want rammy. A rammy is a sheep, a man sheep. That's a rammy. A goat is a buck. And you clearly see that in the script, because he says get 2 male goats and they get 1 ram. So if a ram was a male goat, it would have said get 3 ram. No, get 2 male goats as a crime offering, and 1 ram, 1 male sheep as an ascending offering. And Aaron shall bring the bull as a crime offering, which is for himself, and make atonement for himself and for his house. So Aaron specifically has to get 1 bull for himself and his house. And he shall take the 2 goats and let them stand before Yahuwah at the door of the tent of appointment. And Aaron shall cast lots for the 2 goats, 1 lot for Yahuwah and the other lot for Azazel. Who's Azazel? Well, the book of Hanuk, or what they call Enoch that they took out, tells you who Azazel is. As one of the fallen angel them that have come down with Hashatan. So why would they be sending 1 for 1 and 1 for 1? Let's read into this, guys. And Aaron shall bring the goat of which the lot fell for Yahuwah, and shall prepare it as a crime offering. But the goat on which the lot fell for Azazel is caused to stand alive before Yahweh to make atonement upon it, and to send it into the wilderness to Azazel. So all the crime them that we make atonement for every year, I go to Azazel in the wilderness. So, but me thought the fallen angels them like up in a Shamayim, up in the heavens, or somewhere down in Sheol or whatever. So why would we be sending it into the wilderness to Azazel? I tell you something? Okay, that's why you need to read your scripts for yourself. And Aaron shall bring the bull of the crime offering, which is for himself, and make atonement for himself and for his host, and shall slay the bull as the crime offering, which is for himself, and shall take a fire holder filled with burning coals of fire from the slaughter place before Yahuwah, with his hands filled with sweet incense beaten fine, and shall bring it inside the veil. And he shall put the incense on the fire before Yahuwah, and the cloud of incense shall cover the lid of atonement, which is on the witness, lest he die. Whoa, this is steep. This is serious. And he shall take some of the blood of the bull and sprinkle it with his fingers on the lid of atonement on the east side. Also in front of the lid of atonement, he sprinkles some of the blood with his fingers 7 times. And he shall slay the goat of the crime offering, which is for the people. And he shall bring its blood inside the veil, and shall do with that blood as he did with the blood of the bull for him own and on family crimes, and sprinkle it upon the lid of atonement and in front of the lid of atonement. And he shall make atonement for the Kadash place, the place apart place, because of the uncleanness of the children of Yasharah. Open up them curtain card dark. My video are dark. Thanks. And he shall make atonement for the Kadash place because of the uncleanness of the children of Yasharah, and because of their transgressions and all their crimes. And so he does for the tent of appointment, which is dwelling with them in the midst of their uncleanness. And no man shall be in the tent of appointment when he goes in to make atonement for in the Kadash place until he comes out. And he shall make atonement for himself and for his household and for all the assembly of Yasharal. And he shall go out to the slaughter place that is before Yahuwah and make atonement for it. And he shall take some of the blood of the bull and some of the blood of the goat, and put it on the horns of the slaughter place all around it. And he shall sprinkle some of the blood on it with its fingers 7 times, and cleanse it, and make a Kadash from the uncleanness of the children of Yasharal. And when he has finished atoning for the Kadash place, and the tent of appointment, and the slaughter place, he shall bring in the live goat. He shall bring the live goat. And Aaron shall lay both his hands on the head of the live goat, and shall confess over it all the crookedness of the children of Yasharal, and all their transgressions, and all their crimes, and shall put them on the head of the goat, and shall send it away into the wilderness by the hand of a fit man. Whoa. Why would that be? Why they must send it into the wilderness? Some send all the crimes into the wilderness, as we seen earlier, to Azazel. And the goat shall bear on itself all their crookedness to a land cut off. Thus he shall send the goat away into the wilderness. Aaron shall then come into the tent of appointment, and shall take off the linen garments which he put on when he went into the Kadash place, and shall leave them there. So all those white, nice Kadash garments, I have to take them off. He basically have a strip down, and the tent of appointment left them closed there. So, and he shall bathe his body in water in the Kadash place, and shall put on his garments, and shall come out and prepare his ascending offering and the ascending offering of the people, and make atonement for himself and for the people, and burn the fat of the crime offering on the slaughter place. And who sent away the goat of Azazel washes his garment, that fit man, washes his garment said way, and shall bathe his body in water. And afterward he comes into the camp, and the bull for the crime offering, and the goat for the crime offering, whose blood was brought in to make atonement in the Kadosh place, is brought outside the camp. And they shall burn their skins and their flesh and their dung with fire. Even for them poop, them have to burn with fire. And he who burns them washes his garments and shall bathe his body in water, and afterwards he comes into the camp. And this shall be for you a law when? Forever. And this shall be a law for you when? A law forever. When does this stop? In the 7th new month, on the 10th day of the new month, you afflict your beings and do no work, not one piece of work, the native and the stranger who sojourns among you. For on that day he makes atonement for you, to cleanse you, to be clean from all your crimes before Yahweh. And the priest who is anointed and ordained to serve as a priest in his father's place shall make atonement and shall put on the linen garments, the Kadash garments, and he shall make atonement for the most Kadash place, and make atonement for the tent of appointment and for the slaughter place, and make atonement for the priests and for all the people of the assembly. And this shall be for you a law when? Forever. That's 2 times. The number 2 represents confirmation. And this shall be a law for you forever, to make atonement for the children of Yisra'eel for all their crimes once a year. And he did as Yahweh commanded Mosheh. Forever. So guys, when does forever end? Tell me that. Me want to know, you know. Let's jump over to Leviticus 23, starting at verse 26. Because this talks about all the feast days, but we're not going to talk about all the feast days. But we'll read verse 1 and 2, and then we'll drop down to 26. And Yahweh spoke to Mosheh, saying, speak to the children of Yisra'eel, and say to them, the appointed times of Yahweh, which you are to proclaim as Kadash gatherings. My appointed times are these. So we're going to drop down to verse 29. Or 26, me mean? Or 26. And Yahweh spoke to Mosheh, saying, on the 10th day of this 7th new month is Yom haKippurim, or Day of Atonement they call it. It shall be a Kadash gathering, a place apart gathering for you. And you shall afflict your beings, and shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh. What does afflict your beings mean? What does that mean? I have to look somewhere else for that. I have to always get context. Same like we had talked about with the tithes video. When I'm saying, may I pour out a blessing. May I open up the windows of a Shamayim. Open up the windows of heaven that you might have a barakah. That you won't have room enough to receive. What does opening up the windows of a Shamayim mean? Tell me. We have to go back. We have to go all the way back in the beginning. Bereshit. Or what they call Genesis. Anyways, it shall be a Kadash gathering for you, and you shall afflict your beings, and shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahweh. And you do what? No work on that same day. For it is Yom haKippurim, to make atonement for you before Yahuwah, your Elohim. For any being who is not afflicted on that same day shall be cut off from his people. And any being who does any work on that same day, that being I shall destroy from the midst of his people. You do no work. Again, 2. And then here we go again. 2, a law forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. When? Only in Yisra'eel, or only when Yahushua come back, or only when we're in the promised land, or only the Yisra'elim them back in the day. What did that say? A law forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. No matter where you're at, all your dwellings means any place you're there. It is a Shabbat of rest to you, and you shall afflict your beings on the 9th day of the new month at evening. From evening to evening, you observe your Shabbat. What does that mean? Everybody wants to say, oh, the 9th day we have to fast and then the 10th day atonement. No. He said the 9th day at evening. So you don't have no dinner on the 9th day. And then the evening for the first part of the 10th day start. So between the evenings, usually when you have your dinner, you don't have no dinner that night. The 9th day. From evening to evening. And this how you know, say this is a 24-hour Shabbat. From evening to evening, you keep your Shabbat. So for one whole day, you keep your Shabbat, 24 hours. Not only the day portion like the regular weekly Shabbat. You observe your Shabbat because he already tell us the Shabbat is the 10th day, the day of atonement. So I can't no other day. The 10th day. And he let you know from evening to evening. So for one whole 24 hours is your Shabbat. There we have it. And that's part of how the day Agwan. The weekly Shabbat is not called Shabbat. The day of the week, me mean. It is called Shabba'i. The Shabbat portion of the day is the daylight portion, which is only the daylight portion, usually 12 hours, call it. So, there you have it, guys. May want to know, when does forever end? When does all your dwellings end? Or does that mean when he come back, when we in the promised land? Not for doing in the land we captives, whatever you want to call them. Captors, I guess is the best word for it. We're not for doing in the land of captivity. Where he said forever. Throughout all of your generations and all of your dwellings. So that means no matter where you might be, no matter what time of the year, what time of the decades, what time of the time that we're there upon, you must keep this day of atonement. All right, so there you have it, part 2 of the Day of Atonement. So stay tuned for, should be a part 3 and last, but who knows? I may make a playlist for this. I may link it in the video them at the end, so you can go back and look on the whole things. All right, guys, Shabbat Shalom. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for the next part.